Well, it's been 3 minutes and we're waiting, and we're going to dive into what's going on with the animal farm. Welcome back to the channel where we build financial power. My name is Matt, and this is
Potter.
Today we're diving into the project that is Animal Farm. If you don't know Forex Shark, that's who we've shifted things to be talking about on Friday. And coming in the future, you may see the show change a little bit. You may see just one of us. We've talked about it, and I think individually we might have things we want to document and show at times where it's just each other individually. So just so you know, before we dive all the way into it, Potter, how you really feeling?
Before we get into that, we just like to remind you that this show is not financial advice. Neither Matt or our financial advisors. There are people who get licenses to that. On top of that, we actually recommend, because of things we're talking about today, that you don't get into crypto quite yet. It's just not safe.
Correct.
With that being said, some have said that it's starting to become a game for the rich. So,
yeah.
That's it.
So okay. In the past, I have backed off the content that I've seen out there covering what's happening, the updates, the news, the thises and the that's. And Potter, she's been a part of, it was the Manor Farm, correct? That's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You were a part of that. And you got in just after Drip launched, or were you?
Yeah, just after Drip launched in May of 2021.
So, but ultimately, you've been around when something was launching, and this is my first time going through something actually being launched by Forex and team. So I've been acutely aware of what's been going on. I've been listening to the AMAs. I've been on Driptopians live. He's
such a cool guy.
He's doing like a 72-hour live now. Like he's really. I think he's doing a great job. Really, shout out to him. So, he's been really the big source of information because he's been hopping in the Twitter Spaces or Telegram, regardless. And so I've been consuming a lot, and Potter's been sort of sitting back. There are quite a few people that are what I call fanboys, and I don't mean that as a bad way, but they're fanboys. And
it's not a positive term, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't view it necessarily as a negative thing, but whatever. There are some people out there that are fanboys. Even some of the fanboys are like, brah, what the hell? Mm-hmm. There have been many good points made. Scott the Investor made a really good point talking about how, just objectively, like I understand we don't want to go into FUD world, and that's not what I'm here to do, seriously. But when you look at it face value objectively about the marketing dollars, they have truly been urinated away. So what's your overall arching thought there, Potter?
I think that we can, if I look at it emotionally, I'm like, dude,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
dude,
mm-hmm.
dude. Mm-hmm. If I look at it as a software developer, I go,
exactly. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Exactly. If I look at it as a security professional, I go, yeah. If I look at it as the Forex Shark that I know from other projects, I go, when he goes quiet, it always means that he saw something that a bad guy's doing. It might be trying to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
So unlike when we go to training and we go to seminars and we don't realize we're sitting next to somebody who's paid by a crime mob, right? Here, he's not going to share that information with the bad guys.
Yep.
He's not going to just come out and say, hey, guys, well, guess what they're trying to do? They're trying to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and I specifically asked Potter, you said something, you sent me a message. You're like, I think it's possible that he's working on some security aspects, and he's found some ultimate could be issues. Like he's fixing them. He's fixing those things. And I was like, that makes sense. That's good. For sure. Take more time. Why not say that? And then Potter immediately responded back with, when he tells you, he tells the bad guys. And I was like, I totally get it. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. And then you go with his track record, right? Like a lot of people, and Cole, that is funny.
Yes. I agree with you, Cole. I agree.
If you look at his track record, he wanted to do the Animal Farm launch when he finally just said, you know what, I'm going to just launch, the
Yep.
piggy bank because I just don't like it. And people got their money's worth, right? He said, I'm going to make this decision based on my idea and my understanding of what I know and what you guys don't know. What I think it highlights a little bit more is that as a cyber professional, as a developer, a person who's worked for Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 10 companies, worked on behalf of them, it's just getting easier to see he's an architect. He's not a developer, right? And architects, when you're a developer and you work with an architect, you know that these guys are the smartest guys, right? And they look at things for, in ways that you can't even think of. Add to Forex the ability for him to be a level of savant, or brilliant person.
Yep.
You can't really touch it. But with that being said, looking at him as if I was working on his team, I would be very upset about why are you giving dates? Why are you giving times? Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
Times in Stunna's not a developer. Stunna says this too. Why are you giving times? Times tell the bad guys everything you're doing. Stop doing that. Release a day. A day is enough, right? And then on top of that, what the frustration was on the other launches that got paused was, and go, stop, and go, stop. That's what we kept getting the pain for. That was the aggravation. It wasn't the delay at all. We trust the guy. We know his reputation's on the line. He went catastrophic with or ballistic with when advertising and marketing. More people know who Forex is than ever. Right? So he's not going to blow it. The poor guy was 3 freaking minutes from launch.
Yeah.
And said, ugh, guess what? If it's the space shuttle taking off, they do the same thing. Yeah. They go, there's going to be a lot of upset people that this thing isn't launching, but if you have to do it for the safety of the project, you do it.
Yeah.
The only thing that we have is we're damaged goods. We've been beaten by this, here we go again thing before. And the problem with saying that I won't ever do it again is the bad guys are like, okay, right? The bad guys are not ever going to stop. They're always going to come at you. Right. And so, what can he do? I've talked a lot.
No, it's okay. No, it's all valid points. And it's still at the end of the day, like, of course, like I wasn't like breaking down crying, but I was sort of like, man, because on our last show, we said all he has to do is launch and it's going to be a success, and when I said that on that previous show, it was the concept of building that trust, seriously. But again, I understand why, I take that back. I don't understand, but obviously there's some sort of security reason or whatever. There was one thing that I think was important to mention today that I asked Potter about. So he came on the AMA and he was like, just so you guys know, we're going to add a buy button. Or no, I think there already was a buy button. He said, basically, we're going to edit the buy button to where we're not going to include the price on it. It just kind of looks wonky to a common person that doesn't know developing and all that. In my head, I'm like, why the hell are we working on a buy button right now? And I shot Passage-o-meter. I shot Potter a message, and she was like, no, that actually does make sense when it comes to the UI. It's almost like the UI is the last piece to come. Not to say that wasn't even built out, but if you make some sort of tweak in the code itself, the UI then has to be tweaked. Did I understand that correctly from you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's the thing that he said though that like got me, and it wasn't, I was following Ray's stuff, in Bartertown. So I was looking there casually, but everything that I saw, were, I feel bad for Ray. What were we just talking about? I just saw Cole's message. I thought about that.
Totally valid point. You hit the nail on the head, Cole. When the quote unquote fanboys start to moan online, we have a lot of trust to rebuild. Hopefully if it's just if it eventually does launch, it is flawless. We need to re-engage the big money people who are watching, and that's 100%. That made me think of that opportunity cost. It will never be known, and to harp on it is, something that's out of your control. But you're 100% right, Cole. Go ahead, Potter.
Right. No, as the probably the minority in these discussions, being a developer, developing things at the level that he's doing it, I can see that you guys are just being investors right now with that kind of a statement.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
When the fanboys start to moan, it means your fanboys are not techie. Right.
Yeah.
That's what it means, because your fanboy should have never been moaning in the first place or going rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what it means. I consider myself, a fanatic when it comes to Forex. Look what we freaking name our stuff,
Absolutely.
But just like, Tom Brady wasn't playing good last week, you call it for what you're calling it. With that being said, he's doing what he thinks is right for his project. And ultimately, he started all of this crap to help people like you and me do stuff. He didn't want it just for the rich. So why would this guy screw himself over? He knows how much he spent on marketing. It was his money, and he was 3 minutes away. He even laughed at himself. And the thing that I like is he never took down the Telegram embarrassment moment.
For sure.
He never took that down. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a really embarrassing thing, But he pays attention to social media enough to know that these guys just want to hear when it launches again, right? Yeah. And I literally lied to them. I literally told them I will never, ever, 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 never do this again. And I did it again because if I did what I said, I would have launched something and they would have been like, you made us wait for forever and we could have waited an extra week. Are you kidding me? It would, so it was a Ghost Steelers. It was it's a no-win scenario. Yeah.
Agreed, Potter. None of them are techie at all. Honestly, your perspective, it is invaluable in helping keep level heads. Absolutely. One, and it's precisely, I have a sort of an ace up my sleeve because for that precise reason, I shot Potter a message and I was like, why are we adding a buy button now? To understand that, the coding and all that from a perspective of somebody that knows it, it makes a lot of sense to have that. So you're exactly right, Cole. I agree with you. And to touch on, the opportunity cost concept, I'm speaking to OG investors versus brand new. They just saw an ad for Animal Farm a few weeks ago. The OG investors, they're going to stick around. They're going to be here, most likely, because they've been through this. And this point has been made through a few different YouTubers that were live and whatnot, that the OG investors know what's up. This is a common thing. To a brand new person, you cannot help but feel like, well, this is DeFi and this is shady as hell. I'm out. Hopefully, maybe once it launches and whatnot, they'll come back. But it's just objective. There's zero emotion in that. That's what it is,
Right. And, all of this, including what Forex is doing, just makes me go, okay, I don't want to play here forever. Right. I don't want to play here forever. And cashing out is not a bad idea. However, I also learned during the same week that the holy grail of ROI dApps is a full wallet. Right? Like Drip, an ROI dApp.
Yeah.
Having a full wallet like Splassive. Having a full wallet is the holy grail. That's how you can enjoy DeFi and ROI dApps. Once you have a wallet that's maxed out, that's when you'll start to experience the DeFi life.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? 100%. I was like, okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, and that's something you can't fully know until you're experiencing it, I would imagine.
Right, and I can't get it.
Yeah. So Chris says, I think what bugs me most about Forex is unprofessionalism towards mass communications. And Chris, you are not wrong. You're not wrong. It's communication in any relationship is paramount. And if you start to degrade that by saying, this is going to happen, it doesn't happen, you can't help but it degrades trust. And at the end of the day, honestly,
100%.
Yeah, at the end of the day, honestly, I still feel nothing is nefarious with him. And obviously, I haven't been in the space super long, but I just don't feel anything nefarious is happening. You're right. It's just communication and the execution of it. So I'm definitely the type of person with my business or whatever, for my standard, for me, not for anybody else, of if I say I'm going to do a deadline, I'm going to do a deadline. And I'll admit that in my life, I have imposed my beliefs on other people that are close to me. And that's not right. That is not right. But for my own standards, I agree with you. Like, your word is your bond type thing. But at the end of the day, it's communication. Cole said, agreed, Chris. It's just a start-stop nonsense that really causes the damage. You're right. And so in some of those lives, I was seeing conversation come up in the live of like, some stuff to the effect of like, this is degrading trust, or man, what the heck, and some people were like, it's just taking time. It's almost like blind faith.
Yeah, some of those, yeah, absolutely.
And that is, that is something that, I guess at the end of the day, we say we're changing the UI to be Charles Schwab, but we want to be taken seriously. But this is the actions that we take on our launch day. I mean, you have to walk the walk. And I think eventually he's going to. It does make me lose all faith in the team that he's hired, though, because the team was to come in and to work on the marketing and to maybe deadlines. I don't know if that was mentioned. Apparently that team, there's nobody sort of, not policing, but there's nobody sort of like, hey, Forex, just so you know.
So tell me, what do you think that team looks like? Like when
if
you put them in an office, like what do you think you have? Like you have and you know that they're remote, but if you have an office, what do you think he has?
Honestly,
just guessing. I'm not saying you have to be right.
I think that it may be a friend that they happened to find and hire and gave that title. Maybe that person does have some experience, but it does make me question, because I don't know if that person is docs.
I'm just talking about the number of people.
5, 6.
So what does he have? 6 developers? Are we including Forex? And I'm doing this not to harsh you. I'm doing it.
Yeah, sure. It makes sense. So the CMO is 1, Forex is 2. Did I read that BB he's sort of been let go or something? Unknown. Okay. So I'm going to just count BB out because it doesn't sound solid.
0.5 at most.
Yeah. So the CMO, Forex, and then 3-4 developers in my head. So
okay, 5. So you said 6?
5, 6. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, he should have just 6 developers.
6 developers. Right? Okay.
Yeah. And those developers, like football team, they can play 2 different roles. They can play offense and defense. They can play dev. Some of those resources can be used for QA. But then you need a solid marketing team that is not the architect. So going back to working with architects, some of them just don't talk well to people.
True.
Right. And just like I had devs for me, I'm like, I can understand what you're saying, but the client and the people who are supposed to promote you don't understand a word that you're saying. Right. Because you operate on, and this is what architects tend to do. And as you start to look for investments, make sure, you want a smart architect like Forex. He's on the level of genius, but for you to look at his rollouts and go there, anything other than catastrophic would be wrong to say. But it doesn't have to do with the product. It just has to do with the rollout component of the product. And during software lifecycle development, SDLC, there's so many stages where stuff is caught, right?
True.
Concept, you catch stuff.
Yes.
Prototype, you catch stuff. Sandbox, you catch stuff. Dev, you catch stuff. Demo, you catch stuff. Production, you catch stuff. He's got probably 3 or 4 developers to do all of that.
Yeah.
And he's got to kind of come down into it. It's not, he's going to catch stuff on launch day.
Yeah.
So his QA is pre-launch, and he's going to probably catch it on launch day. That is what logic clearly states if you go by the rule book of what SDLC is. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Well, and I'll be honest with you, I have launched a few products and services in my day that the fundamentals were absolutely there. I mean, you know, there wasn't a risk, but I don't really have a high risk of security in what I do. But, you know, like there was a typo here and this was here, you know, like myself and maybe 1-2 other people have reviewed it. Some of those things have to get fixed along the way. And that makes complete sense. I get that. I cannot imagine, you know, the level of complexity of what he's looking at, you know, so respect to him and the level of complexity. You know, I think at the end of the day, though, everyone has that feeling of, well, brah, it's been 8 months that you've locked a lot of people's money up. You know, it makes sense, the frustration, it really does. But I think it is misery loves company. And I've seen that in some of the YouTube chats and comments, and it can get out of control really quickly, I think. But so Chris made a good point here, and that ran through my head as well. Project managers, are they actually real? Like, did he even really? And that's, you know, it's all speculation. Who knows? Was that person actually hired? At this point, you know, I'm dead serious. The way I view it is, who knows? You don't know. You don't know. Is it Hexalid Degen? Salute
Hexiled Degen.
Potter is good with the English language. I'm not even giving us the native language. Appreciate
it's a little geek. I think and salut.
And Chris, thanks. Appreciate you being here. Cole, you as well. Cool to see y'all here. What happened with BB? You know, that's all speculation. It's a good question. Chris then said, you know, maybe it had something to do with the delays. Never know. You know, never know.
In my opinion, in my professional opinion, 100%. You can't get rid of BB, who was the core, your core developer. Yep. He was your core developer. You can't get rid of him and just go, oh, it'll work.
Yeah.
You know, it just can't happen. And when you're going to find out, roll out. Yeah. Right. Because remember those stages I talked to you about? Okay. You know, development, when you go from sandbox to testing and QA, you would find that out.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. And the other reason that he wouldn't is because he wouldn't have the discoveries that he had until launch, was because the action that was being taken, you don't want to try to do that more than once.
Yeah.
The security implications of exposure are ridiculous. And so for that moment, you want to get that transaction completed, do the move, and be done with it. There was a component that kept them from doing that. And they said, like a NASA mission, no. Yeah. All of that money could be sacrificed. Yeah. Not on his watch. Yeah. You know? But at the same time, it's like, dude, you know your brand is going to take a major hit from being stupid on you know, like, yeah, but that's not reality. So I'll do like I did after Piggy Bank, and I'll let them be mad. Yeah. And then I'll let them see, you know, they'll bring the price down, you know, from Forex, and then they'll come back, you know, and they'll say, oh, it works. Yeah. And so that's what he's willing to do. And for that, in his integrity is the only reason the screen isn't red, because I would be very angry otherwise. I'm not a person who looks at anything other than data.
Yep. So you guys are actually having I think your conversation in the comments right now reflects a lot of what I've seen in the YouTube comments. The majority of, so Drip, I think it was in Driptopians Live. 227 people voted, I think. Do you guys think that the farm will launch today? And I think it was 70% said no. I think there was 500 people in it, but it just goes to sentiment that the frustration is unanimously felt. And then, you know, this point's been brought up, and I agree with you. Everyone will forget about the delays as soon as the farm's open. And I agree with you. That is human nature, without a doubt, that it's going to be forgot about when the new shiny thing is here. And good, I agree. And then Cole makes the point, you know, basically, yes, it is going to, you know, it's worth the wait, but it's going to take a hit. You know, Chris speaks to the point of a lot of money went to other ventures. I saw people in the chat saying, I'm headed to. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Blue Moon and all the other projects. And that's very true. For sure. Yep. But it's worth the wait. I agree with you. I've been sitting on go as well.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people going, not a lot of people. I just saw the mood for myself go from what you just talked about. But the last time, people were like, "Screw Forex!
Yeah.
I'm going to rug."
Yeah.
Is his Forex decided he's going to rule out anything yet? Not
Yeah.
yet. Well, screw him. Rug. You
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So then people are like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'll wait a little bit longer." But
Yeah.
this emotion that of this delay makes you go right back into that. You know what? I'm out. I can't do this mentally, dude. You're wrecking me. You know. And it's not that I have any major win, right?
Yeah.
I just need you to be the guy who rolled out drip, and not the guy who is synonymous with, nah, it ain't gonna roll out. His launch day, no, it's the boy who cried wolf on this one. But he's not actually the boy who cried wolf, because he's so freaking talented. And he has one group, and I'm included in them, over 100 people who've left their job because drip is an economy. Right. And so we are almost fanboys, because Forex to us is like he's our local kid who we wanted to see him do good. Yes, it'll help the small town, but it will also be great for everybody else. So it's not like we just want for our own gain to see him succeed. We actually like this guy.
Yeah. And I've said this before, but Drip was the first DeFi project that I got into, and it was because that project made a lot of sense. And I, without a doubt, heard his message of he wants to create so first of all, the concept around a CD, a certificate of deposit, is something that in traditional money, I've always been like, that is where it's at. You know, if you could get 1% and you put a lot of money in that, you could just make a living off of that. It's a very basic concept that could pay you for the rest of your life. So when I saw this as a project, I was like, this idea is incredible. Then when I understood more of his psychology, and then when I heard like how he invests his money, or at least how he says he invests his money, he lives off dividends. I was like, that is my psychology. Seems like he's working for the little man, so to speak. And it made sense to me, you know, like the project itself, Drip, absolutely makes sense. And then when I finally realized Animal Farm is a utility for it, I was like, okay, so it's actually real. You know, it's not Ponzi-nomics. So I totally believe in what the guy's doing. I really, really do.
One of the things that he said that was like, capitulation flag. This is not going to happen this week, was when he said, "Oh, and I'm working hand in hand with the auditors." Oh, like Hexiled said,
I didn't
we've
hear
been
that.
through this before. Hexiled, what does it mean when Forex brings up auditor? It means
auditors now.
Yeah, auditor. Yeah, but if he's changing code, he's working with the auditors to make sure. He usually he goes, sorry guys, if it's being audited, I'm not going to have a 24-hour audit. But if the change is small enough, he might have that. But I'm saying, from a person who's been through these before, when the A word comes out, the D word comes next, which is D for delayed.
Okay, thank you. I was like, what words are we talking about here? So usually we go about 20 minutes, but guys, I really appreciate and really enjoying watching your conversation. And you know, your feedback, it's good to see. So we'll go. Well, I think we'll go a little bit longer. Screw it, Potter, if you're in it.
In-house auditors, in-house auditors, and they are his in-house auditors. But even him bringing it up that it took that level of a change usually indicates that he's going to move to another level of, I don't like rolling out on weekends.
Tuesday.
I like rolling out on Tuesday. Well, I like announcing that I'm rolling out on Tuesdays. You know, so that's what we have to look at now, though. I think that we're all stupid going forward if, when we hear any launch going forward, that we think it's really going to launch on that day.
Right.
We say, "Oh, good, we got a launch date."
Yeah.
But that's all we got.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to put yourself through a world full of misery, hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and tell me what you think about this. And again, I want to state the idea of this conversation that Potter and I are having. It's not to crap on it. I think it's to talk about it and reflect on it, because I think the wrong thing to do is just have blinders on and be like, it's Forex, bullish, bro. Yeah, heck yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me. Talking reality, talk this stuff out, and the emotions that we do have around it, it makes sense. But at the end of the day, neither one of us are crapping on him or the project or anything. It's growing pains, man. It's growing pains.
Well, no, not even that. Like, we're not even saying anything, because if you look at it as an investor, you have every right to be upset.
Of course.
If you look at it as a dev, you better leave that guy alone, right? So we didn't say anything other than emotionally, yeah, you should feel like, no, you know, here we go again. You should feel all of the emotions. Like, it's the Forex situation is like a foggy mirror that you draw on, right? And X gave me this analogy. And when it fogs back up, you see the writing again.
Hey,
right.
I like that.
So this kind of event just caused us to fog back up and go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know, it just causes emotion. But when you look at his discipline, his excellence, when it comes to executing a project that is safe, he's the best in DeFi.
Yep.
There's nobody close. Like, you could, I think the EMP team, I've heard about them being really good, but they will be the first to tell you we're motivated and inspired by Forex, right? Most of these teams were the Fur team, you know, they were as well. Yeah. So you can be very upset with the business management of this whole thing. It is a fiasco. It's horrible. Yeah. But you cannot in any way harsh the product, or the security around it, or the excellence when it comes to his level of detail. Yep. When it comes to rolling out something that doesn't get rolled back. Yep. You know, Drip didn't get rolled back. Piggy Bank did not get rolled back after he relaunched it, after somebody exploited it, where other people and other farms would have said, hey man, this is DeFi, you know what you're getting into. He was like, I didn't create this for the bad guys to win. There's going to be a lot of mad people, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix this. And then he says, I'm going to roll it out. Oh, hey guys, I'm going to wait on some stuff. So that's the part.
And you hit the nail on the head, in that at the end of the day, why anyone is here is for the product. And still, like I said, I'm here for the product without a doubt. I mean, you look at Amazon, Apple, like, there are plenty of people that can't stand Apple's policies about, this one piece was broke, you're going to have to buy a new product. Guess what? People still buy the product because they love the product. Some people talk about Amazon and how they treat the workers, but guess what? They're still ordering gum and making people package one whole thing for gum. That's not me crapping on everybody. What I'm saying is, if they like the product, they're really going to stick around for it. I'm sticking around for it. I'm going to wait without a doubt. Tell me this, Potter. From working from the dev side, truly understanding that, and then working on the operation side, how should he launch? Should he put another countdown out? Should he just launch the damn thing and put a Telegram message out? Should he do another AMA saying I'm launching right now? Like, how should he launch this?
It's such a catastrophic, horrible rollout of drastically horrible proportions. Because a rollout is nothing but marketing, right? So this is like the sloppiest, ugliest thing that you could ever imagine.
Right.
So I don't know if there's any
good way, bad way
for the next, for the next one. But what you think of is telling people, hey, let me get in front of this. If you're Elon Musk, and he's growing to be that, he's trying to grow to be an Elon Musk, but right now he's just not an effective communicator outside of the technical expertise it takes to explain his highly complex system, right? He's not an idiot, but it just seems like if you're going to have people speak, let them be the bad guys. Like, he could have had a horrible person that was talking to us. We're like, we hate you. We like Forex. Like, why are you talking? And then Forex comes in and says, hey guys, I normally like to come in and help, but I'm letting the CMO come in. I promise you guys, I'm working on it. Forex, we knew you'd be there. And then the CMO comes back. It's like, hey guys, I just want to give you up. Shut up. We want Forex back. He's not allowing himself to be any level of hero, because he is the architect, the developer, the QA, the engineer, the marketing. And he's just too small. He's got to grow in ways that are much bigger.
And to speak to ultimately just like the bravery side, good, bad, ugly, whatever, takes a lot of balls to get out there after you've had delay after delay after delay after delay. It takes a lot of seriously. Like I'd be shaking in my boots, getting up there and be like, "Hey guys, 3 more minutes." I like props to him because I mean, props to him. Chris says, as Matt said, the fanboys are really trying to make excuses for Forex shortcomings. If you want to be the best of the best, you have to show us via demonstration. You're exactly right. Potter's always said, "Don't believe what we say, trust our actions," and that's such a true sentiment. And true sentiment, is that the right phrasing?
Yeah,
anyway,
it is.
Is that the right?
Yeah, Forex never had to tell us, "Hey, I promise that'll never happen again." We never asked for that.
Yeah.
We never asked for it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that so Potter and I, outside of here, like the people in your corner should call you out in a good way. Should call you out. The people in your corner should not be yes men. Like yes men do you no good, and they actually, I think, make you look worse. And I like no shade to anybody out there. That's my personal belief. The people in my corner in my life and what I do, I want them to call me on it because the people I love, the people I'm working with, I love them. So I'm going to call them out when they ask me, "Hey, what's your opinion on this? What do you think about this?" And that's true. That's a true relationship. That's a true working relationship.
It's hard to find that. Like, it's so funny that you talked about. I just watched this interview, and Cole, we're going to get to your point in a sec, where Kevin Hart was in this thing with this person that Ray turned us onto, Valuetainment, I think it's called. And Kevin Hart said that, sometimes people walk in and they'll have on a shirt, for an interview, and then they have a scarf. And they think it's cool because nobody told them, "Hey, you look like an idiot." Right?
Yeah.
And so he says, "You want the kind of person that's going to say, 'You look like an idiot.'"
Right.
What are you talking about? Nobody says anything. You're not on my level. It's like,
Exactly.
But he said that he got to a level where people were like, he's like, "Oh man, I need to go shopping." It's like, "No, Mr. Hart, we'll go shopping. Well, I need to buy clothes." "Mr. Hart, we'll take care of those clothes." Forex is in that world right now.
Sure.
There are people who are like, "You're great. You're great. You're great." And if there isn't anybody, but I think Ray is grounded enough that he tells them, we gotta do stuff here. But with that being said, in his role, it's really hard. He's the founder, leader, owner. Who can really tell him anything? Sure. But to your point, somebody has to, or he will just always think that I'm on another level. You're just jealous,
right?
And that's where stardom gets you. It gets you into trouble. So I'll let you go to Cole.
Yeah. Cole said, "Agree, Chris. Honestly, admitting that things went absolutely sideways is more credible than pretending it isn't a big deal." I fully agree. I mean, I'm not big on like coming out and apologizing and all that. Like, I'm not big on, you messed up, so please bleed for us. But I agree with you of being like, you know what, stuff screwed up. We got to fix now. It's launching. I question if that is maybe in the future would be a good idea. And I mean specifically to people that were going to invest, people that are shaky, not the OGs. That's what I'm talking to. I'm not trying to stroke my pride here and be like, I need a sorry for Forex. Not at all.
No, it didn't sound like you were doing that. It just sounded, it's like one of the things that he's doing is our knowledge is increasing like 20-fold with this experience, Yes. The people who the ROI dApps that are based off of all of these, they're learning so much.
Yep.
But until he rolls it out, they won't know what he fixed because he caught something, 3 minutes. Yeah. Can you imagine if he launched because I said I was going to launch and then he was like, "Guys, I got to stop it again."
Yeah.
There would have been, everything would have been on fire. All right, Chris. Oh, Potter's right. I like you, Chris. Even though you did say go Steelers.
So Potter's right. People on the inside tend to let transgression slide. It's very true. Transgression slide when people around him need to tell him you messed up. I agree.
Right. In my professional career, Chris, I was that person. I was a dissenter. Okay. And I heard this one thing, Mark, I forget his name. I'm going to call him Mark Wahlberg. Zuckerman. He was having this thing, and it's the CFO or CTO who talked about it. And there was this one guy who was like, "Whatever. Well, what about this? Blah, 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 blah." Nobody else disagreed. anything that they would say, except this one guy. And they promoted that guy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so, but as a person who worked on really high performing teams, you're working with a lot of smart people.
Right.
So they're not used to people calling them out and being right. They don't
Right.
expect me to be as smart as them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So they're like, you know,
and that's a company culture there. You know, that's without a doubt a company culture, because I've seen the same thing in healthcare, you know.
Yeah. I was once working on this project where it's back at AOL TV. We're making this AOL, and I got taught the security thing by this guy, and I'm a dev, and I just decided to work QA. The architect tells me, "Oh, you need to build it." I'm like, "It's not going to build." He goes, "It'll build." I'm like, "It's not going to build. The keys aren't going to work. It's not going to." I said, "And if you're wrong, I have to come in on Saturday to restart the server." He goes, "Okay." I had to come in on Saturday and restart that server. And then you know what he said to me? "How did you know?" And then I explained it, and he was like, "Oh, you know, like, why didn't you just go back and look?" Why? Because you're an architect who is very seldom ever wrong. And every time you get called out by somebody who's not as smart as you, they're wrong. So you're used to the noise, you know? And then when you have a level of success, you can't even tell who to trust.
Yeah.
You know, he's in a hard position. All right.
Yeah, it's just it is. It's just a culture. And I at the end of the day, though, I mean, I think it's great. I'm happy that our biggest problem is that we have a project. We have a project that we're just waiting on the launch. You know, I mean, it's been so anticipated. You know, like that.
Yeah, it's not going, "Hey guys, you know, I need to wait another month." Yeah, it's not, "Hey guys, I promise it's going to be something cool." Well, it kind of isn't. But it's a different level of feeling. So what my opinion is on this, and Matt, I'm sure you'll share it. My opinion on it is, guys, hold on. Like, you know, if you've been waiting a few months, I've been waiting since he announced this crap last year about this time and said that it was going to happen he said it was going to happen in November. And he was like, beginning of December. Well, guys, you know, we don't want to do it around the Christmas season. You know, we want to wait until a little bit after July, you know, before, and then it launched in July, and I was a very happy person for a few weeks. So I believe that those feelings will come back. I don't think that we need to run away from Forex because of this action. We need to go, dude. But other than that, anything else is emotion. The data does not match that emotion. And it sucks for him because, you know, a lot of people, and it sucks for us as investors because a lot of the money that we wanted to be owners in, they just took their money to a lot of rug pulls. And they won't be able to reinvest it.
Yeah, true. But hey, this is all our own unique journey, and you got to learn it yourself. You got to do what's best for you. You got to stick to your core principles. That's what we're going to do regardless. And Cole said, my money is still sitting here waiting to go in. There are a lot of us like that. That says a lot, and it's very true. I know Potter and I we're sitting on go. So
actually, I saw this thing, and I'm talking like Matt. This would normally be after the show, but I saw this thing called shorts, and I'm going to do a little bit of a short on the piggy bank because I learned something about the piggy bank, and we can share it on a show as well. But I'll tell you after the show specifically what it is. But I think maybe I should do a short on it.
I like it. Well, I appreciate you guys back. It was good. It was good to see the combos, and I agree. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Some new people.
Seriously. Chris Hexaled. Did I get that right? I still didn't get it right.
Hexile Degen.
Hexile Degen. There we go.
Cole, and our main man, Cole.
Appreciate you guys. Seriously. Yes, for sure. Well, builders, keep building. Game on. I'm assuming you didn't have anything else, which is why I didn't.
No, I thought when you say builders keep building.
Okay. I didn't have the button.